Hello everyone, it's Kevin and it's time to revisit a classic. Let's talk about a time when a franchise didn't just upgrade, it elevated. Because for Castlevania, 1991 wasn't just another sequel in the series, it was Castlevania's entry into the 16-bit era. The SNES had arrived and fans wanted a new entry. This retrospective isn't through nostalgia glasses. This is a look at a game that took the brutal No Mercy NES Castlevania formula and re-engineered it from the ground up. People tend to forget that this is somewhat of a reboot actually, and Konami was not holding back. This is Super Castlevania IV. They knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah, the series had some legendary and well-loved games, Rondo, Symphony, the DS titles, absolute greatness. But if we're talking pure Belmont action platforming, no RPG systems, no map screens, no Metroidvania, I'll say it, Castlevania IV isn't just great, it's the cleanest, most pure definition of what classic Castlevania was trying to be and needed to be. Overview. On paper, it sounds simple. Simon Belmont, Dracula, 1 century later, let's go. But don't get it twisted. As I alluded to earlier, this isn't a sequel playing it safe. Konami didn't just slap some color and graphics on an NES game and call it a day. They rebuilt everything. Stages, enemy layouts, physics, pacing. This was a statement piece, and the message was clear. This is Castlevania in the 16-bit era. I dare you to go back and play Castlevania 3 and then this game right after. If you do, you'll notice from the moment you pick up the controller, you'll feel the difference. It's heavier, smoother, more deliberate, but also more capable. Gameplay and controls. Now this is where Castlevania IV fully breaks away from its past. Classic Castlevania games were rigid by design, and it was definitely due to the time that it was released and the console that it was released on. In those games, you commit to jumps, you attack straight ahead, and you accept the punishment. And adding to that punishment, there's even more knockback damage. I feel like the team behind Castlevania IV said, what if we don't have to live with that anymore? The 8-way whip isn't just an upgrade, it's a philosophy shift. For the first time, Simon can attack above, below, diagonally, mid-jump, and you're no longer fighting the controls, you're fighting the game itself. Here's the key difference in this game versus its predecessors. When you die in Castlevania IV, it rarely feels cheap. You don't end up blaming the game, you think, yeah, I could have played that better. A modern day equivalent in my opinion would be the Dark Souls series, which I can't believe is going to be retro next year in September. Might have to make a video on that one. But just like in Dark Souls, in Super Castlevania IV you have to get good. So to summarize, it's not that it's an easier game, it's a fairer game. And fair challenge is what keeps people coming back to it. Story and characters. Story-wise, this is classic Castlevania. Minimal, moody, and to the point. But visually, this is the definitive Simon Belmont. Armored, serious, no weird proportions, this is a monster hunter who looks like he belongs in this nightmare. And the enemies? Just unreal. No lazy palette swaps in this one, every monster feels heavy, detailed, threatening, and unique. Castlevania IV doesn't tell its story through dialogue. It tells it through the atmosphere in the levels and what it throws at you. Every screen in this game is just pure, unadulterated gothic horror pixel art. Graphics and presentation. Let's be honest, this game was revolutionary. Castlevania IV didn't just use the SNES, it showed it off. They used dark color palettes, layered backgrounds, heavy atmosphere, and yes, a lot of Mode 7. But they didn't use Mode 7 as a gimmick. This rotating hallway is disorienting on purpose. The twisting tower backgrounds, they mess with your depth perception. Foreground chandelier swinging, it gives you a sense of space. This isn't tech for tech's sake, it's tech that allows for immersion. Very few 16-bit games feel the cinematic, and Castlevania IV just nails it. Sound and music. I'm gonna say it up front. The NES Castlevania music was hype, but SNES Castlevania music is mood. This soundtrack leans darker, heavier, and more cinematic. Themes like Simon's theme and Bloody Tears aren't just remixed, they're reimagined. The SNES audio hardware lets these tracks breathe, and that whip crack, it's pure satisfaction. Everything that you hear in this game just reinforces that you are alone. You are powerful, but this place wants you dead. Technical performance. Here's one of the most impressive aspects of the game. For how much this game is doing, it runs shockingly well. Big sprites, parallax everywhere, complex physics, and yet the controls stay tight. Sure, there are brief slowdowns during heavy effects, but there's no further issues. This game is always reliable. And that matters, because when a game asks you to master spacing, timing, and precision, trust in controls and stability is non-negotiable. And Castlevania IV is happy to oblige. Value and replayability. There are many reasons why Castlevania IV still holds up today as it's packaged. But the main reason is that it's the most approachable classic Castlevania without going too far from the formula. The challenge is intact, but the frustration is trimmed. Thankfully, they kept the password system from Castlevania III, which definitely helps. It's the kind of game that you replayed not just to win, but because of the vibes. You'll find yourself playing through levels randomly, and I can't really explain it, to be honest with you. There's just something about it. And with so many different platforms to play this on in 2025, it's become the go-to Belmont experience. It's timeless, polished, and easy to revisit. Final verdict. Super Castlevania IV is the ultimate expression of pre-Metroidvania Castlevania. Full stop. It fixed what needed fixing, it pushed the hardware to its limits, and delivered a version of Simon Belmont that still stands at the top of the hill, in my opinion. Bloodlines tried different ideas, Rondo perfected others, and Symphony of the Night branched off and took the series into a different direction. But Castlevania IV, it set the standard and it never really gave it back. This game is a must-play, whether you're a Castlevania fan or not. And that's my take, but now I want yours. Let me know which Castlevania reigns supreme in the comments. And that's a wrap. It is time to reboot. I will see you on the other side.